About 20 years ago, my ex and I took Paris to her first Red Sox game. Now, some of you know my daughter, Paris. She's my 19-year-old. She's been on the channel several times. She's actually going to be coming on again very soon. So look out for that because it's going to be a great episode. And I'll tell you why in a minute. I'm hoping it's going to be out this Friday. It's either going to be out this Friday or next week. We tried to film it yesterday. We were almost done. We're like 20 minutes into the video. We're in the garage. I usually, if I do a video during the day, it's in the garage, or if I do it with Joe, we do it in the garage. Right now, I'm in my laundry room because I try to be quiet so I don't wake up the whole house. So usually in the garage. So I send Joe this text, and it said, Paris and I are going in the garage to make a video. Please don't come in. That's fine. He's at work. Like, I didn't even know if he's going to be home while we're still making the video, but just in case, I sent that. So we're about 20 minutes in, and I hear him pull up. Now, I was fine with him pulling up because I didn't think he was going to come in through the garage, which he wouldn't have anyways, because we like to do things the not simple way here, not the best way. We have one of those keypads outside the garage. It needs new batteries, but we don't think to put batteries in. We just inconvenience ourselves and walk through the house and open the garage from the garage. But anyway, so I didn't expect him to try to come in. All of a sudden we hear bang, 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 bang. He's banging on the garage door. All right, the dogs are going crazy. They're barking and freaking out. The video is over at that point. So I open up the garage and he comes in and he's like, oh, did I ruin the video? No, oh my gosh, no, we're just hanging out here. It's cool. Half hour later, he comes up to me and he's like, I ruined the video, didn't I? Yes, you did, as a matter of fact. But that's okay. We're going to refilm it, and hopefully, maybe it'll be a better one anyways. Hopefully that'll be out Friday, maybe next week. But the reason I'm telling you all this is because we're doing a giveaway. So we're doing a giveaway on the channel. So definitely stay tuned. Paris and I are going to give some prizes away, and I want as many people as possible to win. So I will announce when that's going to be, but it's coming up. Now, I just want to get back to the 20 years ago when we were at the Red Sox game. Now, I was super excited to go to this Red Sox game because it was going to be Paris's first game. And she looked so cute. She was a baby. She was like 8 or 9 months old. She looked so cute. I have the pictures of her. Like, I have them in a photo album. Otherwise, I'd put them up, but I can see them in my mind. She had this like white shirt with this pink Red Sox lettering on it. And she had on these little frilly shorts. And she had on little sneakers, even though she couldn't walk yet. And I got her hair up into little pigtails. Paris, for some reason, now she has, you'll see pictures of her, you've seen pictures of her, many of you, and I have a little video I'm going to post up with her on the day that we released the video when we're doing the giveaway. But she has beautiful hair now. But when she was a youngster, before she turned 1, she had probably the best way for me to describe this is male pattern baldness. So she didn't really have hair at the top of her head. It was kind of in the back. And it was curly, so that made it shorter than it would have been. I was always such a hassle doing her hair before she really had it grow in because I'm like this with my dogs too. Like, they're always in bows and little cute sweaters and stuff. I wanted to dress my daughter up. So she had this ribbon collection and bows, all types of stuff. So I was always trying to get her hair into little ponytails, and I got it in. It looked so cute. She's at the game. We're there, and we're sitting front row. My parents used to have season tickets to the Red Sox. Actually, my dad got them from Ted Williams. You know, he's like a famous baseball player. My father used to work at a bank, and they had these tickets that Ted Williams donated to the bank, and these season tickets, he donated them to the bank. And so people would go, and like big wigs would get the tickets sometimes. Well, the bank was bought, and when the bank was bought, my father and a couple of other guys, they got together and they held on to the tickets. So they had 3. So they didn't have seats to every game. It was with, I think, now I can't remember, it was 3 or 4 people, but they had 6 seats. So there were 2 front row right by the visitors dugout. There were 2 third row back, and that was kind of closer to the plate. Those later become 5th row back because if you live in the Boston area, you know that the Fenway Park, they're always throwing in new seats. Like, before you know it, you're going to be sitting up right next to the pitcher. And then they had 2 seats in the upper deck. So it was like these guys switched the seats around. So you didn't have them for every game, but we went to this game on the front row, and we're sitting there, and I've been front row before there, and so I knew that because of where it was, right next to the dugout, right by third base, you're on TV when you sit in front row. So I wanted to film the game. So I was filming this game. So I have evidence of what I'm going to tell you. So I'm filming this game at the house because I wanted to see Paris on TV. So, and she was on TV a couple of times. At one point, they just focused on her face, and it was just, like, so fun. Then at one point, they focused on us because a ball came towards us. So, people get hit in the stands. It's an issue, right? So, and it's a little bit scary when you see one whizzing at you. So we're sitting there, and that happened. So, like, you couldn't see what we were doing beforehand. You're probably just sitting there, but we both recognized that the ball was coming to us. So, but we have two different reactions. So they follow the ball, and it's right next to us. You do not see Paris. You see me completely covering her. You can't see my face. You can just see my body covering this child. My ex, on the other hand, he jumped up into the air trying to get that ball. He was desperate for that ball. That's what he wanted. He didn't care about me. He didn't care about Paris. He cared about getting the ball. And one of the announcers even said, they were kind of like joking and laughing at him. Look at that guy. He really wants that ball. That was what he did. If I had not had that on videotape, I never would have known. Like, think about the things that we don't see, because I wouldn't have known. I would have assumed, because this happened so quick, just like instantaneously. There's no reaction. There was never a moment where I thought to myself, oh, I should probably protect Paris, or maybe I should cover her. I just did it. My ex, on the other hand, just did it as well. And he just reached out. He wanted that ball. That was what mattered to him. If I didn't have it on videotape, I wouldn't have known, because the whole thing happened so fast that I would have ducked down, not seeing him, assuming he was doing the same thing. And then I would have like unwrapped myself, and it would have been over, and we would both be standing there. I wouldn't have known. So, and it was funny because I'd show this to people at the house, and it was always the same thing. Like, people would joke around with him. Oh, why weren't you protecting your family? And so he eventually changed it to, I was protecting my family. Of course I was protecting my family. I was going to catch that ball barehanded. That's what I was going to do. There was no time. I thought, I have to protect them this way. It was absurd. But at the time, I didn't, there was a part of me that was a little annoyed with him, that was a little hurt. Because I was like, wow, like, he really wanted that ball more than he wanted to protect me or his child. But I dismissed it. I thought, well, you know what? It was because I knew how it happened so fast. Maybe he wasn't thinking, or maybe he was like trying to catch that ball. Maybe that is what he was doing. What can I really say? So I let it go. How many times do we let things like that happen? When you are involved with a narcissist, the cruelty of this creature is off the charts. It's like you cannot believe it. So I think it makes more sense in our mind to turn it into something that we can relate to, that we can understand. A little while ago, I get up in the middle of the night to make my videos, and I was surprised when my alarm went off at 2 and Joe was already up. So I get up, and he's sitting in the kitchen, and so we talked for a little bit, and he was having trouble sleeping because he's been, I mentioned, and I'll let him tell you more about this when he's back on the channel. The thing about narcissism is that when you're involved with a narcissist, it can affect you in so many ways. It can affect you emotionally, spiritually, physically. Joe has been having a rough time physically and emotionally. It's really been getting to him. My ex is causing some issues, and we'll talk about this later. This isn't the video for that today, but he's been sending me emails every single day. He's being condescending, rude. He's causing problems, and Joe's the one that's dealing with it, essentially. And it's been getting to him, and his ear is bothering him, and he's had stomach aches. It's like physically and emotionally, he's a wreck. But this is a thing with Joe. I always tell him, you are so much stronger than you think that you are, because for me, I get a lot of credit, and Joe's like always doing this. Oh, you have such a good attitude, or this or that. Yeah, but it comes natural to me. Just like when I covered Paris, right? I wasn't thinking about it. So for me to get credit for something that comes natural to me, it doesn't seem right to me, because the way that I see Joe act every single day, it takes so much for him to get through the day. And then something happens, like Joe, we had an issue with the house. Joe is the one dealing with the real estate agent. It like goes over him. He has that protection. He wants to protect me. He wants to protect the kids. It's the opposite of how my ex always was. But when you think about it, it's because we're not used to being with somebody that has, any morals, or who cares. We're used to the dregs of society, and that it wears on you. It affects you. It touches you. Joe said the other day when we were reading one of these emails with my ex, he was like, you know what, Sharon, we got to stop. We can't read this anymore, because it infests us, and it does. There's something about narcissism, and it's so important to understand this. There's really something about narcissism that can affect you in so many ways. And when we go into these entanglements so naive, so trusting, it's painful. When I think about my ex and I think about the things that I did for him, the things that I did because I was trying to be a good wife, the forgiveness, it was all there. I was so good to him. And that's one of the things, like, and I'm sure you guys can do that too. You think back to the way that it was and how you know you were and the response that you got. Because I think you just naturally think that if you're a good person, if you do good things will happen to you. If I'm in a marriage and I'm good to my husband, I'm good to my wife, I'm good to my family, I'm going to have a happy home, right? I'm going to be successful. Of course, bad things can happen, but you don't think they're going to happen from the other people in your home. You don't think that you're with somebody who's betraying you at every turn, that's trying to hurt you, that's stealing from your own children. But that's what's happening to us. And then we make excuses for it, or we somehow convince ourselves that it's not that bad. Or maybe you don't understand. If you want to have a good laugh at my expense, I'll tell you this. This is so crazy to me, and I can't believe that I ever felt this way. It's nuts, but it shows me when I think back to it. Like I just said, he gets like symptoms, right? He has physical symptoms from narcissism. All that happens to all of us, right? I was having this emotional symptom where I could not fathom that my ex could be so heartless. So I convinced myself that when he was giving me silent treatments, he was doing it against his will. All right, that he just, it's crazy, I know, but this is what I'm thinking. Because the reason I thought this is kind of like with the baseball game when he's like, oh yeah, I was trying to save you by catching the ball. He was like, well, I don't want to give you a silent treatment. I don't know why. I can't talk. I don't know how to get the words out. So I end up not saying anything, and it hurts me. And I see you're hurt, and then it makes me feel worse. Oh Lord, what? Come on. I don't even know what to say about that. It's all lies, but I wanted to believe it. I wanted to believe it. So he would give me these silent treatments, and I would beg him to talk to me. I was a grown woman on my knees, begging my husband to talk to me, to say something to me, because silent treatment was his weapon of choice, and he used it all the time. Towards the end of the entanglement, it was nonstop, just about. This is close to the end when this particular event happened. I can remember being on my knees in the kitchen. So I was literally on my knees, begging my husband to talk to me. He was in the dining room, I was in the kitchen. So in order to get through, he had to step past me, go beside me. He just stepped right over me. So I'm literally crying, freaking out. My emotions were off the charts. I was begging him, please talk to me. He stepped over me. And you guys want to hear the worst thing? Oh my God, you guys, he stepped over me. He went to the cabinet, got a package of Oreos out, and left. So it's like, think of that. Here's his wife who didn't do anything wrong. You know how silent treatments are. When somebody gives you a silent treatment, it's because they have done something wrong and they don't want to talk about it. If you have done something wrong, they will talk about this all day long. My ex, he was giving me a silent treatment to protect himself. He didn't want to deal with me, but he wanted to eat Oreos. That was how he thought of me. When you think about that, and I think about this today, there could be no circumstance where if I was in an argument with Joe and he said to me, begged me, please talk to me, Sharon, please, I need you to talk to me. There's no way I couldn't do it. The love that I have I would feel sick hurting him in that way when I knew something I was doing. The narcissist, though, my ex, I was begging him to talk to me. All he could think about was how he wanted to eat Oreos. And you want to know something? It was like those not the chocolate ones, like the light colored ones. When I see them, we can't buy those. When I see them today, if I'm at the grocery store, I always think of that moment when he took his stupid Oreos and went out to the car. But that's the narcissist, and here I am. This is happening right in front of my eyes. I have video evidence of it at the Red Sox game, and still I'm thinking a different way. Well, he doesn't know. He doesn't realize. He doesn't get how painful it is, or he doesn't understand. Like, poor guy. I never felt like pity for him, but it was verging on that. Poor guy, he just doesn't know. He is so bad at communication that he actually can't talk to me when he definitely wants to. And I'll tell you another example of something that was right in front of my face, and I kind of saw it, but I also wanted to ignore it. The last vacation we went on, which I don't know if I can really call it a vacation, but it was 2016. We went to visit his parents, my ex's parents in Florida. Before the trip, the week before, was a nightmare. So we were going, first of all, his parents stole this trip from me. This is what happened. We're going to go on this trip. I wanted to take my kids, and I love Harry Potter. I wanted to go to Universal Studios. I was so desperate to go there. I wanted to take them before they got too old. So I made this plan. We're going to go for a couple of days to Universal Studios. And I said to my ex, maybe we can see, his parents live in Florida. So I'm like, well, maybe we can see your parents one day. We can go see them one day. And he was like, okay, like he wasn't that psyched about it, but he agreed to do it. And then I said, well, you know what? And so this is me saying this, but I'll tell you what happened. I was like, maybe they want to come to Universal with us and hang out with the kids. No, I didn't. I was like, okay, one day, because I really, really want some time with my kids by myself. But I did say that one day. The next thing you know, my children get this package in the mail, and it says, dear so-and-so in Paris. My ex-mother-in-law was trying to make it out into some like cutesy little thing. And she's like, you are the beneficiaries of all expenses paid trip to Florida. You're going to have a private driver, this, that, all this stuff. I was so livid. They took the entire trip away from me, all of it. They were going with us every day. We were staying at their house. They took it over, and I flipped out. And I said to my ex, what the hell? You got to fix this. Now, if you hear it in my other videos, my ex doesn't do anything with his parents. Nothing. Finally, this is what I ended up getting that week. I talked my ex into renting a car. I don't like the way my ex-father-in-law drives. I didn't want him driving all over Florida. So I was like, we have to have our own car. Like, we have to. So I can do my own thing. Like, we're not like prisoners by his parents. He allowed that to happen, but his parents flipped out. They were so mad, and he told them that. Now remember, they took the whole trip over. And he also, my ex would take everything from his parents too. He let them pay for the plane tickets. Like, we were like, they owned us at that point. I was so mad. You guys. So my only thing I did was I was like, I need that rental car. When he told his parents, they were so upset. They flipped out. How dare she? How insulting is that? Oh, she can't drive with, so-and-so. What's wrong with her? She's never liked us. Like, they went on and on. My ex shut down. Silent treatment right away all week because I wanted a rental car after his parents took the whole trip. I mean, they took the trip. I was never consulted. He was never consulted, as far as I know. And they just took the trip over, and they thought it was so cutesy and fun, and this is what their grandchildren wanted. No, I wanted to go with my children to Universal Studios because my kids and I are the ones that read the Harry Potter books. Sometimes you just want to do things like that with your own kids. So I wanted to do that. They took the trip. Now, thankfully, and God is so good, when we were at Universal, they got tired easily and left. So if I didn't have my own car, we would have been screwed. We would have to leave like after being there for a couple hours. Anyway, so that did kind of work out there, but I didn't know this ahead of time. So here I am, and I insisted on that rental car. My ex would not talk to me. He flipped out. He had a huge flip out in front of the kids. He threw all this stuff around the office. He was like throwing like the phone, and he had a monitor. Like, he was scary. He was scary mad because his parents got mad at him. And I can remember at one point his parents left it. I mean, this is just ridiculous. Like, I'm a grown ass woman. I want a rental car. Like, that's what it was. There was one point my ex they left a phone message, and he comes up to me. He's like, you need to listen to this with me. I'm like, I'm not listening to this phone message. If I have to hear it, you have to hear it. So like, I'm literally like a grown woman with like, my daughter's a teenager, and I'm listening to this stupid, whatever his mother was talking about, how angry she was, how hurt she was. And I didn't matter. They took the trip. That didn't matter. And so basically it was a horrible week because my ex basically ignored me the entire week. I didn't know if we were going. Are we going? Are we not going? I don't know. Nobody was talking to each other. It was so bad. I can remember I was with my mother one day, and she's like, oh, you're looking forward to the trip? And I like spilled everything out. I was like, I don't think we're going. She's like, what are you talking about? So I told her what happened. She's like, oh, see, this is the problem too that we have. We get bad advice from people. Oh, well, he just gets upset. He has a hard time, saying no to his parents. And the grandparents are so excited. They want to see the kids. You have to go. So the day before, my ex still hadn't said anything. I don't know what he would have done if I didn't say to him, all right, let's just go and have a good time for the kids. Then suddenly he wanted to do that, no problem. And I remember on the plane ride down there, he was sleeping in the seat, and he looked like he had not a care in the world. He's going on vacation. He's going to see mommy and daddy. His wife is doing exactly what he wants. He can show off his kids or whatever. Life is good. He doesn't have to go to work. He's on vacation. He's not paying for it. They're paying for everything. And I actually took a picture of him sleeping there because it irritated me so much. I was like, how dare he? I had a whole week of hell. I couldn't sleep. I didn't know what was happening. Are we going on vacation? Are we not? What am I supposed to tell the kids? What am I going to do? It was horrible. But the narcissists, they only care about themselves. That's it. Nothing else matters. Think about your own life. Are there any of these little sightings? I almost think sometimes a narcissist is kind of like the Loch Ness monster, where most people don't believe in it. Some people do, and they're convinced of it, but all they really have are these grainy photos, right? So we're stuck. No, really, it was there. I saw it. I did. Because when you tell somebody about how a narcissist is, how cruel they are, it doesn't sound believable to someone who hasn't literally lived this way, who doesn't understand, who doesn't know. Because I think the reason is that people don't act this way, and they know people don't act this way. The problem that we face is that narcissists aren't people. They have the shell of a person, but inside they are pure evil, selfish to a degree that's difficult to comprehend. Even now when I think about it, I'm like, wow, is that really what he was thinking? But that is really what he's thinking. That is really what she's thinking. If you are with a narcissist, I know this is not what you want to hear, but I'm telling you this for your own good, for your own safety. It doesn't get better until you leave. And I know that people are thinking, I can't leave, I can't do this. Yes, you can. The whole time I was with my ex, it was always, I can't leave. I want to leave, but I'm so desperate to leave, but I can't. I need him to die. If he would just die, my life would be so much better. I never once said to myself, Sharon, you are a grown-ass woman. You're capable. You're intelligent. You can raise your children by yourself. You don't need to be stuck with this loser. I never thought that. Something outside of myself had to happen. Maybe God could do it or whatever. Maybe he'd go to work early in the morning and get in a car accident. Or maybe he'd have a heart attack and die. That was my hope. My hope was never in myself. I want to tell you, please, your hope is in yourself. You are the one that has to save yourself. I was talking to Joe a little while ago, and he was talking to me, and sometimes Joe, getting mad at God isn't quite what I would say. Sometimes he wishes God would intervene more, right? And I get that, and I've had people tell me, literally tell me, well, how can you possibly believe in God? How can a good God let this happen to his children? You say that you're his child, and he lets this happen to you. I don't think God lets this happen to us. I think that God has been warning us all along, but we don't want to believe what we're seeing. We can't make sense of it until enough bad things happen. But I think that God is literally jumping up and down, trying to get your attention, snapping his fingers. I think that that's what he's trying to do. What he had tried to do. When I have gone over things that happened, there was evidence of it. I saw it. I got to the Red Sox game, right? It's just one example. Or the silent treatments. The last day we were together, he was, you guys know the story, I've told it a million times. He was trying to hurt himself, but blame me. So he's banging his own head on the wall. He was banging it, screaming. When the police get there, he immediately stopped. He was in control. He knew what he was doing. If somebody's out of control, I've heard this said before, where, if you say you're somebody that your spouse, a boyfriend, girlfriend, beats you up. And then you say to yourself, or to somebody, they were out of control. They didn't mean it. Would they do that in front of other people, right? Are they different in front of other people? Narcissists are. The way that they act with us, they don't act like that with anybody else. And that also goes against us, because other people like the narcissist, and you're thinking, well, maybe I am imagining, it can't be that bad. Maybe I should try harder. But what you really need to do is recognize that you have more power than you think. You don't have to leave the narcissist today. But what would be incredibly helpful to you if you're still in an entanglement is remembering what you're dealing with, and telling yourself, whatever your name is, I am a strong, capable woman, man, whatever. I can get through this. I can do this. Of course I can. Because once you start having belief in yourself, things start happening. It was a miracle. And some of you followed me way back when I was still with my ex. It was a miracle that I got out of that entanglement. But you know what? I didn't get out until I started believing in myself. Belief in yourself is the most important part of this. And remember, when you're with a narcissist, who you see, what you see is them. This is them and their, think almost like a National Geographic show, right? We're looking at the narcissist in their natural element. That's at your house when they can be themselves. Think how they act and ask yourself, is this somebody that would step over me, grab some Oreos and head out? Or is this somebody that would sit with me, cry with me, hold me, love me, help me? Which one do you have? Which one do you want? Thank you so much for watching this video. I will let you know about the video with Paris because I'm hoping that it's going to come out Friday. We'll see if we have time to do it. It's so hectic with work, and Paris is in college now too. But I'm going to try. It'll definitely be next week. But giveaway coming up. I hope you guys have a wonderful, great day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.